if you hear that noise, you know it's time for Alex Garrett Podcasting. And this is my final 5-minute fix of 2022. I really believe this feature alone was a game changer because when I didn't have an interview lined up, when I just wanted to let it all out, I was able to do it with you guys on this 5-minute feature. And so thanks for letting me spend 5 minutes with you a day, at least almost daily, right? We were almost there every day with something for 5 minutes. So thank you for letting me all year long just empty my cranial, as I like to say, for 5 minutes. And you listened. As I mentioned before, if you listen for more than a minute, that counted as a download, which means you've been listening. And thanks so much for that. Now, to end it, we are sort of a culture and society podcast, and I figured I want to play you an unaired finality to the Robert Erskine interview about what the AutoLab alumnus is doing and his final thoughts on the Queen's passing, which totally was the cultural story of the year in 2022. We talk about the Queen, we talk about all about her legacy, but I want to know, and maybe AutoLab listeners want to know as well, what are you doing these days since that has kind of come to an end at the moment?
Well, I've been very, very busy in my studio. I'm very lucky that I've got a studio here at home. So I'm busy in my studio. I'm actually, and you can watch my website in the coming weeks. I'll be posting my stuff on. I'm going through a mechanical phase. I'm making sculptures that are connected to, I suppose you could say, homage to the internal combustion engine, because all the talk of EVs coming out and battery power, and in 2025, 2035, production of the internal combustion engine across Europe is finished. It's cut. That's it. So there's no more engine production being planned. So I'm fascinated by how components inside engines work. So I've taken a crankshaft, and I'm making a sculpture that's going to be called Soft Crankshaft, and you'll see it on my website. So bottom line is, I'm very busy making sculpture,
RobertErskine.com,
and I'm enjoying myself.
RobertErskine.com is the website.
www.roberterskine.com. ERSKINE. RobertErskine.com.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're still involved with cars, because I know that's your first passion.
Yes.
I emailed you yesterday. You messaged me back with this long surname, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, let's break this down a minute. So what is and were you knifed by the Queen?
No. This is just a bit of fun. For a birthday present, I was given. Are you ready for this particular bit of fun? I was given a title of Lord Robert Erskine of Gilmore Sanday, Scotland. My brother-in-law and his partner bought me a plot of land in Scotland with a legal official certificate that says I can call myself Lord Robert Erskine. It's not lineage. I'm not connected to royalty. My family have no connection to the royal family whatsoever. But it was just a bit of fun. So I can use this title if I want. And it's very, very good if I have a problem with a washing machine or an electrical appliance that I can't get fixed. I can pick up the phone and say, now, this is Lord Robert Erskine here. I want my toaster fixed, please. I can't seem to get through to your customer services. And that seems to work.
Well, I gotta say,
it's just a bit of fun.
But I also have to say, you have some royalty in the AutoLab lineage. I mean, I don't know if you want to go into that for a minute, but you are related to Mr. Walchuk, and of course, we all hope he's doing well. But royalty within AutoLab. So there you go.
Well, yes. Now, Harold, Professor Harold Walchuk, who was the founder of AutoLab, which was the longest, probably the world's longest running live automotive radio broadcast anywhere. He's my cousin.
Very cool.
So this is on my father's side. So my father's mother, or my father had an aunt who came to America. She started her family. One of the children in the family is Harold Walchok. He's my cousin.
Very cool.
And I have to tell you, for those of you who want to find out about him, he's the most wonderful and remarkable guy. And yes, I think he's very much like Her Majesty, because everything he did was to help people. It was a great helper of people, very concerned with people who were having a bad time. So
but made sure to have a great radio show every week. So that was...
Well, it was great fun. And I won't go into the story as to how I got onto AutoLab, but it was through my cousin inviting me into the studio.
Wow.
Just to see what he did. And then, as we say in England, dropping me in it.
That was in WOR days, right? I think.
Yeah.
Who turns up this year? So.
A gentleman living in New York rang up with a very troublesome Jaguar. We call them Jaguars. You in America say Jaguar. Right. And this guy rang in and said, I've got a problem with a Jaguar and this, that, and the other. So my cousin, Harold, I didn't know this was going to happen. He said, well, we've got in the studio an interesting guy. He's my cousin all the way from London. He knows a bit about cars. Why don't you ask Robert? Now, I'd never been on radio before. So I'm sitting there and I looked at my cousin and he just started laughing. Harold just burst out laughing. He turned off his mic and started to laugh. And I was put on the spot. So that's how I got onto AutoLab.
He actually used that laughing technique to diffuse any kind of situation there, if you notice that.
Yes, yeah. Look, I'm just going to mention somebody, if you don't mind me. There was a gentleman called Charlie Finch who used to ring up. Now, sadly, Charlie Finch passed away recently. Very, very sad. And Charlie Finch was a real intellect. He was a character. He was great fun. But often he would go, as we say, off-piste and start talking about stuff and shouting and getting angry. And Harold would always diffuse it with his laugh. Right. His laugh, like the Queen's smile, was disarming.
And there you go. A little more on Robert Erskine and his life story. And that is it. That's my final 5-minute fix for this year. We'll be back with more in 2023. And one final thought, maybe a little joke to end the year, huh? If George Santos can flub up his resume so badly and lie everywhere, should LinkedIn be verifying our resumes? Now that's a question to ponder into the new year. Have a great New Year's Eve and Happy New Year on this final 5-minute fix of 2022.